You're seriously telling me you want a break? To see your ex? That was the sentence that ended my engagement. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe to Family Tales by Ethan so you never miss out on these fascinating stories. And let us know what you're watching today in the comments. My name is Ethan Parker. I'm 27, and up until a few months ago, I thought I was about to marry the love of my life, Claire, 26. We'd been together for 4 solid years, built a life together, shared dreams, and even bought a small house just outside of Seattle. Everything looked perfect from the outside. But as I'm learning now, perfection is often a disguise. Claire and I met at a friend's rooftop party downtown. She was sharp, funny, and had this way of making people listen without ever trying too hard. I was drawn to her confidence immediately. We started dating soon after, and within a year we moved in together. I worked as a project manager for a mid-sized tech firm, while she freelanced as a graphic designer. Our schedules aligned nicely. We'd cook dinner together, binge-watch Netflix shows, and talk about our future until late into the night. When I proposed last year, it wasn't in some extravagant setting, just us. Dinner at home, and a small diamond ring I'd saved for. She cried when she said yes, and in that moment, I believed my life had finally settled into something real. We spent nights scrolling through Pinterest boards, choosing colors, and dreaming about a fall wedding near a quiet lake. But then, slowly, things started to shift. At first, it was subtle. Her enthusiasm for the wedding began to fade. She used to text me pictures of dresses, playlists, flower arrangements. Then one day, it just stopped. I'd ask simple questions. Have you picked your bridesmaids yet? Or what about the cake tasting? And she'd shrug, saying, there's still time. It didn't seem like a big deal at first. People get stressed, right? Planning a wedding isn't easy. So I gave her space, convinced she'd bounce back. But in hindsight, that space was where everything started falling apart. The first real crack appeared one night when we were out with friends playing that ridiculous TikTok game. If you could relive one relationship, which would it be? Without missing a beat, Claire said, probably Jake. Jake, her college ex. The guy who cheated on her twice. The guy she told me was a walking red flag wrapped in charm. The whole room went silent. She laughed it off, saying, not that I'd want to relive it, it was just important. But her tone said otherwise. I didn't want to make a scene in front of everyone, so I let it go. But later that night I asked her, why him? She brushed it off, said it was just a game, and went back to scrolling her phone. Still, that answer sat in my stomach like a rock. From that point, I noticed her becoming distant, checking her phone constantly, smiling at messages she wouldn't share, canceling plans with excuses that sounded more like afterthoughts. Sorry, I have work tonight. Or mom needs me this weekend. None of it seemed alarming individually, but stacked together it painted an ugly picture. Then came that Friday night. I got home early, excited for a quiet evening. But the moment I walked in, I knew something was off. She was sitting on the couch, laptop open but not really working, just staring at the screen, blank. You're early, she said, like I'd caught her doing something wrong. The silence was heavy. She wasn't talking, wasn't smiling, just avoiding. Finally, she closed her laptop, looked at me, and said, there's something I need to talk to you about. I could feel my stomach tighten. She took a breath, stared at her hands, and said, I think I need a break. I need to figure out how I really feel about Jake. I remember gripping the edge of the counter, half expecting it to be a joke. You want a break? To explore things with your ex? She nodded, like she was discussing what to have for dinner. I just need to know if I'm making the right decision marrying you, she said softly. If it doesn't work out, I'll come back. I promise. That sentence broke something in me. She wasn't just asking for time, she was asking for permission to betray me. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just sat there, numb, as she explained how she owed it to herself to be sure. When she finished, I said the only thing I could manage, if that's what you need, then take your break. She looked almost surprised that I didn't fight for her. She packed a bag that night and left for her mom's. I watched her walk out the door, and in that silence, I realized something. She thought she was leaving me behind to wait for her, but she had no idea I wasn't waiting. I was already planning my next move. The night Claire walked out, I sat there in the dim light of our living room, staring at the empty spot on the couch where she used to curl up beside me. I didn't cry. I didn't even feel anger yet, just a strange, hollow quiet. But underneath it all, something started shifting. The first spark of resolve. I remember thinking, if she wants space, I'll give her all the space in the world. The next morning, I called my best friend, Noah, and told him everything. Noah isn't the kind of guy who sugarcoats things. After listening to the story in silence, he finally said, "Ethan, she's not taking a break. She's trying to keep you as plan B," and he was right. That night, over pizza and beer, we sat down and made a plan. Not revenge, just a clean exit. I'd spent 4 years building a life around her, and if she wanted to go find herself, then I was going to find myself too, just without the dead weight. The first thing I did was call a realtor. The house, the one we both called ours, was in my name. I'd paid the mortgage, the insurance, the taxes, everything. She'd chosen the curtains and the wall colors, sure, but the deed had only one name on it, mine. By Monday afternoon, the realtor came by, assessed the property, and we listed it the same week. The housing market in Seattle was hot, and offers started rolling in faster than I expected. Claire probably assumed I'd be moping around the house, staring at her pictures. Instead, I was printing out contract papers. Next, I started quietly erasing her presents. The Live, Laugh, Love plaques she hung everywhere, gone. The pastel throw pillows she loved so much, donated. Every trinket, every reminder of her, I packed it all up. But instead of dropping the boxes at her mother's doorstep, I decided to be efficient and symbolic. I hired a moving company, had everything delivered to her mom's house, and left a short handwritten note on top. "Here's your stuff. Good luck with Jake, petty, maybe, but I'd call it closure with style." When our mutual friends started asking what happened, I didn't badmouth her. I just told the truth. Claire needed time to explore things with her ex before the wedding. I decided I deserved better than being someone's second option. You could almost feel the shift in their reactions. When you speak the truth calmly, without bitterness, it hits differently. Word spread, and soon everyone understood. I wasn't the heartbroken fool. I was the guy who walked away with dignity. Meanwhile, Claire started texting me. At first, it was casual. "Hey, hope you're okay." Then, "We should talk soon." But when she realized her stuff was gone and the house was up for sale, the tone changed completely. "What are you doing? Why are you acting like it's over?" I replied with a single line. "Because it is over, Claire. You made your choice. Now I'm making mine." She called me crying, begging me to understand that she didn't mean it like that she just needed time to figure out if we were right together. I asked her, "So, what was I supposed to do? Sit around like a loyal puppy while you tested your ex?" There was silence, then more tears. "But what if I realize you're the one I want?" she said. Then I told her, "You'll have learned not to take people for granted." And that was the last real conversation we had. After that, something inside me flipped. I wasn't mourning anymore, I was moving. I applied for a position at my company's West Coast office in San Francisco. I'd been hesitant about relocating before, but now it felt like the perfect opportunity for a restart. As the days went by, I packed the house piece by piece. Every time I sealed a box, I felt lighter. Noah came by again to help me, and after a while, he noticed the change too. "You look peaceful," he said, almost surprised. "I am," I replied. "It's strange. I thought I'd be devastated, but it's like I'm finally waking up." And I meant it, because here's what I realized. Claire's break wasn't a betrayal in disguise. It was a revelation. It showed me exactly who she was, before I made the mistake of saying I do. Over the next few weeks, the offers on the house solidified, and everything was falling into place. I didn't check her social media, didn't ask mutual friends for updates. Whatever she was doing, it wasn't my problem anymore. But life has a funny way of bringing news to your doorstep, whether you ask for it or not. A mutual friend texted me one night. "Hey, just thought you should know. Claire and Jake are already posting couple photos." I stared at the message for a while, then just laughed. It wasn't bitterness this time. It was freedom, because in that moment I knew. She didn't lose me. She never really had me. I packed the last box, locked the front door, and watched the moving truck drive away with the last of my things. For the first time in months, I didn't feel broken. I felt done, and what came next was the part Claire never saw coming. The next few weeks felt like the calm after a long storm. Except this time, I was steering toward something new. The house sale closed smoothly, and not only did it sell faster than expected, it sold above asking price. It felt poetic in a way, as if the universe was rewarding me for finally letting go of something that wasn't meant to last. Meanwhile, my transfer to San Francisco came through. I packed my car, said goodbye to Noah, and drove south along the coast with my entire life condensed into a few boxes and one duffel bag. With every mile, the air felt lighter, the past further behind me. The new office was buzzing with energy, creative, ambitious people who didn't care about gossip or drama. For the first time in years, I woke up excited to go to work. My apartment overlooked the bay, the view sparkling at sunset, and I'd often find myself standing by the window, coffee in hand, thinking how close I'd come to throwing all this away for someone who couldn't decide what she wanted. But even as I built my new routine, pieces of the past kept drifting back. Through mutual friends, I started hearing about Claire and Jake, and as expected, it didn't take long for their rekindled romance to crash and burn. Jake was still the same man he'd always been. Selfish, unreliable, a serial flirt. Within weeks, he was already messaging other women, and when Claire found out, she tried to play it off as if she'd been the one to end things. But word travels fast in small social circles. She tried to rewrite the story online too, posting vague quotes about self-discovery and trusting the universe. I didn't react. I didn't comment. I just kept living. But when she saw photos of me in San Francisco, smiling with my new coworkers, hiking cliffs, exploring the city, she started messaging again. At first, it was harmless. San Francisco looks beautiful. I miss talking to you. Then it turned desperate. Please, can we just meet? I made a huge mistake. Eventually, she showed up. In person. It was a gray Friday afternoon when I walked out of the office lobby and saw her waiting by the steps. She looked tired. Not the confident woman I once knew, but someone worn down by her own choices. Her eyes were red, her voice trembling as she said, "Ethan, I messed everything up. I thought I needed closure, but I just threw away the best thing I ever had." I didn't say much at first. I just looked at her, realizing how far apart we'd grown. Not just in miles, but in who we were as people. "I was scared of settling," she said. "Scared that I wasn't ready for forever. But after losing you, I realized I was just scared of being honest." For a moment, I almost pitied her. Almost. But then I thought of the nights I'd stayed up wondering where she was, the way she'd looked me in the eyes and said she wanted to date her ex, and all the times she made me feel like an option instead of a choice. And just like that, the pity faded. "Claire," I said quietly, "you didn't lose me because you made a mistake. You lost me because you made a decision." She started crying harder, saying we could fix it, that she'd go to therapy, prove herself. But it was too late for that. "You can't rebuild something you already burned to the ground." I told her, "You thought you could press pause on me and come back when you were done exploring. But love doesn't work like that. I'm not your safety net." She left that day with nothing else to say. And for the first time, I didn't feel anger, or even satisfaction, just peace. Because closure doesn't always come with apologies. Sometimes it's just the quiet understanding that you've finally moved on. The following month, I adopted a rescue dog, a German Shepherd mix I named Zeus. We started hiking together every weekend, exploring the coastline, chasing waves. I even joined a local rock climbing group, something I'd always wanted to try but never had the time for. Funny how you find time when you stop investing it in the wrong people. One day, out of the blue, I received an email from one of Claire's old clients, a marketing agency I'd met through her. They said, "We heard about what happened. We're looking for a reliable designer. Do you know anyone you'd recommend?" I smiled and referred them to another talented designer friend. A week later, I learned that friend had landed the contract. A contract Claire had once called her dream job. Karma, it seemed, had its own timeline. As months passed, Claire's updates became more chaotic. Cryptic posts about heartbreak, followed by angry ones about toxic people. Eventually, she stopped posting altogether. Her sister reached out once, saying Claire had moved back home and was trying to heal. I wished her well, but didn't ask for details. That chapter was closed. My life now? It's exactly what I used to dream of. A fresh start, a new city, a career that challenges me, and peace I didn't know I could have. I even got invited to speak at a tech conference recently. Standing on that stage, looking out at hundreds of faces, I realized something profound. I wasn't defined by what I lost. I was defined by what I chose to walk away from. A few weeks ago, I received one last email from Claire. It said, "You can delete the photos, the house, the memories, but you can't erase what we had." Those years meant something. I replied with one line, "You're right, they meant something. They taught me what I don't want in a partner." And that was that. Looking back, I'm grateful it ended when it did. Because if it hadn't, I might have married someone who never truly loved me, and spent years trying to fix something that was never broken. Just fake. So here's what I'll leave you with. When someone shows you who they really are, believe them the first time. Don't wait for them to decide if you're worth it. Walk away and start living like you already are. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's happiness. And that's exactly what I found.